Holiday weekend edition of Prediction Markets Edge on TEL. That's Donnie Rightside and me, and that's Joe Raineri. Him right there, and we're ready to give you information to invest and possibly make those pockets just a little bit fatter. It's a fun market. It's fun concepts we talk about, Joe, and over the next half hour, we got those fun topics, and also we're going to bring in Tom Vecchio as a guest and talk even more about some of these hot topics, Joe. It's time to get started for the party this weekend, huh?
And listen, it's going to be a party this weekend, Donnie. A lot of great Major League Baseball action coming up, some great series, not to mention, of course, NBA, NHL. You even have some markets involving the PGA Tour where maybe Scotty Scheffler isn't the biggest name in those markets to concentrate on anymore.
Koepka coming for blood this weekend. Could he pick up a PGA Tour victory? Find out. But also, Joe, hot topics that always invade this space, which means some things just make sense. Around 2/3 of Kalshi activity, Joe, comes from non-online sportsbook states per Morgan Stanley. That just makes sense. I can't go online and place a wager, but I can go online and invest in stock market style activity here in sports wagering. How about that, Joe? No surprises on this here.
Yeah, let me just break. That means California. That's basically what that means there, Donnie. Since it's the biggest state here, obviously, that does not have any avenues like that. But it doesn't shock me, Donnie, and that is why so many people have ruffled feathers with what's going on with the prediction markets. But again, you've opened this Pandora's box. You're not putting that genie back in the bottle here, Donnie. It's just not happening. And although states have tried, it don't seem to be going anywhere. I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon.
And by the way, I never understand this, too. Like, California loves to tax the heck out of its people here, but refuses to allow online sports gaming and sports betting in their state. And the amount of tax revenue they could steal from their people, I'm surprised that hasn't happened.
Yep.
But then it lets you know how much influence the tribal community have. And when certain people get paid, it doesn't matter what's good for the state. It matters what's good for those people collecting those checks in their pockets to not make it happen. Now, you want to collect some checks in your pockets here tonight, 8:30 p.m. in the NBA, the Western Conference Finals. That's the Thunder taking on the Spurs tonight in San Antonio. The favorite on the Kalshi marketplace, Joe. How about those San Antonio Spurs at a 53% chance? The yes contract, however, is actually higher at 55 cents. I like OKC tonight. So your boy DRS, he's going with the 47% and some plus money as OKC, I think, handles their business. Or at least, Joe, loses by 1 point or less.
Yeah, I think a lot of this, Donnie, is going to be contingent upon who is playing here for San Antonio. Is Harper? Is Fox playing? Those are some, serious injuries here that they're going to have to deal with. Also, A.J. Mitchell as well as Jalen Williams, banged up here. J-Will's not playing. We know that with the hamstring. But, Mitchell didn't exactly. He was hobbling around all over the place on the court. So we're 2 games in, and already both sides are losing key guys here. But does home court matter, Donnie? That's the only question I have, because if it does, I am looking to jump in on San Antonio in any which way I can. Short favorite at home, 33 straight games in which OKC was a favorite in the playoffs. That looks like it might come to an end here tonight.
Player props available also on the Kalshi marketplace. Joe, Victor Wembanyama, who started the series with 41 points in that overtime game, then followed up with 21. If you feel he can sort of come in the middle there, 24.5 points. That's 59 cents is trading. A $100 investment pays back 170 if Wemby can get 25 at home tonight. Let's flip it over to the ice. In a must-win game, that's the Colorado Avalanche. You want to lose 2 games, you better hope it's on the opposing team's ice and you come back home. You lose the first 2 games of the series on home ice, there's a good chance you're not even coming back for a game number 5. The Vegas Golden Knights taking on the Colorado Avalanche, and the favorites, and a heavy favorite. It's no surprise once again for game number 2. It is the Colorado Avalanche. 64% they're trading as the favorite here. 65 cents, though, is the contract to the yes. Must-win game for the Avalanche. But Vegas just is living that charmed life right now. Could they steal game number 2? What are we thinking, Joe? Golden Knights and the Avalanche.
So the big question here, Donnie, is can Carter Hart continue to stand on his head? I mean, he was getting the fact that the Avalanche only scored 2 goals in that game is amazing. They could have had 6 easily, and that's exactly what you're going to see. The chances are going to be there. for Colorado. The question is, can they break this code here of Carter Hart? If you think they can, Donnie, I don't see this game staying under tonight in any way, shape, or form. I think Vegas still can score on Colorado. Goaltending is still the weakest part. But if you think Colorado can convert a few more of those chances, I think this is going to be a much higher scoring game than game one.
How about the battle for first place here in the American League East? Look at the standings right now. Don't look now, but I guess you do. The Tampa Bay Rays show a 4.5-game lead over the New York Yankees. You take a look at the game tonight. By the way, I faded the Yankees yesterday, first 5 innings, 1-0 at the end of 5 for the Blue Jays. Picked up that victory. And by the way, Yankees didn't even score in that game. They lost that game 2-0. But tonight they are the favorites against the Rays. Why? Garrett Cole is coming back to the mound. They're currently ahead with a 57% chance to win the game. Yes, contract at 59 cents, Joe. But, hey, I know it's the Yankees and it's the Yankee tax here. But Tampa Bay, every time I turn around, oh, look at that, 4-game win streak. The Yankees have lost their last 2. But the Yankees are the favorite with Cole back on the mound tonight.
Yeah, no, Tampa at plus money. I don't know what we're doing here. Cole hasn't pitched in 14 months, guys. He's 14 months of rehab from Tommy John. What's he going to go? You know he's going to be on a pitch count. And, you know, it's going to take him a couple of starts, Donnie. We've seen this. He's not coming back to be the dominating Cole right off the bat that he was. So I think the market overreaction is huge. I think there's going to be a time to back Cole. I don't think this is one of them. I think Tampa comes into Yankee Stadium. And if I'm not mistaken, Donnie, does what they have done now for the last couple of seasons, and that's usually win games and do it in – baseball fashion, small ball, play defense, steal bases, bunt guys over, and win games. I like Tampa here tonight.
Usually, too, you like to bring a guy back, you like get him up extra lathered up, as we like to say. Pitching in 80, 85-degree temperatures, get loose. Only going to be about 55 to 60 degrees at first pitch here in Yankee Stadium. We'll see how that one actually plays out at this point. But if you're looking for a big-time game to watch, maybe the Yankees do get that spark with Garrett Cole coming back. Dodgers and the Brewers. Joe likes a side in this game. And right now, live, Joe, 50-50 trading here, Dodgers and the Brewers. Most people look at this like, wait a second. I can get the Dodgers, Joe, at 50-50 trading. Sign me up. But, Joe, I know you're telling the people, not so fast.
Yeah, no, not so fast. I mean, Milwaukee's won 11 of their last 13. They've won the last 4 series. They just swept and beat down their rival in the Cubs at Wrigley, swept them there for the first time since 2021. And the Dodgers, once again, on the road. They were at Petco. Now they're on the road here to Milwaukee. I like Logan Henderson. This will be his 4th start, I think. And he's got swing and miss stuff, and that's important here. I think Milwaukee at this price at home keeps rolling here, gets game 1 of what should be one of the more entertaining series of the weekend here, Donnie.
Could be one of the more entertaining series. A lot of good series across Major League Baseball taking place this weekend on a festive Memorial Day weekend. But I tell you, sometimes you get yourself into trouble. And this is how you know the league is starting to get on the radar of sports bettors and also sports, enthusiasts, and maybe a higher priority list, which would be the Fever. Uh-oh, Joe. We talked about her sitting out. Her is Caitlin Clark. Back injury. No, it's not really a back injury. No, we're not having a load management. We're just going to see how that back turns out. They may have violated league rules with the decision not to play Caitlin Clark versus the Fire on Wednesday. League rules stipulate all matters relating to player availability, Joe, must be submitted by 5 p.m. the day before the game here. So now we're playing games with Caitlin Clark, the WNBA, the people. They're not going to like that. You don't tell me she's playing or think I'm going to play, and I go down there and spend my money on a ticket, and she's on that sidelines, and also lines moving in that direction.
Well, yeah, they have her listed as probable now, so that's that is good news. But don't forget, I mean, she only played 13 games last season, Donnie, because of multiple injuries. They didn't miss her last game. They won 90-73. Valkyries on the second of a back-to-back. I like Indiana here, and I like them a lot here tonight.
And by the way, player props tonight for Caitlin Clark on the Kalshi Marketplace, Joe. 19.5 currently trading at a yes contract of 52 cents, which means a $100 investment pays back $193 if you think Clark gets 20-plus points tonight. We'll return. Tom Vecchio joins the show next right here on BME.
At the end of the day, LeBron's going to have to put that team on his back. Can he do it? I don't know if he could do it for a 7-game series. Can he give you like two, like, oh my goodness, LeBron at 31? Yeah, I think he can give you a couple of those games. But it's about the other guys that have to step up.
Pro basketball today, only on SportsGrid.
Let me understand this, Joe. Are we going to have any broadcast games on TV anymore? It's all streaming?
You got to pay to watch here, folks. That's just the way it's going to be, one way or the other. And I'm sure this will satisfy, the FCC looking into the coercion that's going on here with the NBA NFL broadcast rights? Yeah, this is all par for the course, I think.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All these idiots out there sounding off on Tiger right now. See, it's so easy to go after a guy that's hurt. He's hurt. Whether you call it whatever you want. He's got a little bit of an issue he's going to fix. Okay? They're attacking. Attack. Why don't you all shut up and let him go do his thing? He had to leave the country to do it because of privacy? That's nauseating to me.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Now, I see him 15th, 16th, somewhere in that ballpark, and I think that makes sense, Donnie. I don't see him in the top 10. I really don't. I mean, when you look at, let's say, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you start going into that, teams like the Cowboys or the Vikings or the Chiefs, and, could they take a flyer?
Prediction Markets Edge, only on SportsGrid.
Donnie Rightside, Joe Raineri, Prediction Markets Edge. Let's welcome in Tom Vecchio for a big weekend of action across all sports landscapes, Tom. But I want to start here. Number one, how we doing? And number two, do we have any plans this weekend? Yeah.
Going out to dinner tonight. Really simple. It's not going to be the best weather, so keep it nice and easy this weekend.
No better time than have a couple slices of pizza and eat them like a sandwich. And away we go and talk series winner action tonight. By the way, Vegas Golden Knights, Colorado Avalanche. Game number 2 is going to take place, Tom. Most people thought Colorado would just win game number 1 and possibly game number 2 and have an easy time with Vegas. Not so fast as they like to say. Why? The Vegas Golden Knights with a chance to go up 2-0. But my question to you is it the time to buy the Avalanche, currently trading at a 54% chance to win this series? Or are the Golden Knights for real, and Carter Hart and Torts out there should be the way to go?
I want to say if you are willing to buy into the Avs, it's really depending on whether or not you think Cale Makar is going to be playing tonight. Because if he's not going to be playing tonight and the Avs were to lose again, then that would be the opportunity to buy into the Avs. If they were to lose, the number would be much better on them at that point. Now, Cale Makar is a massive, massive impact for them. I said this coming in, the Vegas Golden Knights are for real. They are. Mitch Marner's playing at an unbelievable level right now. Yeah. They have too much talent, and it's not some chasm between these teams thinking that the market was like 80-20 or 70-30. It's really like a 55-45 in terms of who I thought would win and leaning in the favor of the Avs. But the Avs are good enough to win, but they need Cale Makar.
They do, but it feels like, man, it could have been 8-9 goals in game 1 there. I mean, the chances are going to be there for Colorado. That is clear. If they convert on a couple of more, it's tough to look at an under in this game with a desperate Colorado team, no?
It is. It absolutely is. They have to get the offense going. And frankly, when you're going to pour in 30, 35 shots, whatever, Carter Hart had the other night in terms of saves, he's not going to have that every night. And listen, if he's going to have that every night, then he just is going to win the Conn Smythe, then we're just wrong about it. But the goals will be coming for Colorado, especially once Cale Makar gets back. Their offense will only improve compared to where they were.
Yeah, it's good stuff to watch it play out here from a Flyers perspective. Carter Hart was supposed to be our franchise goalie, and now could he win a Stanley Cup in Vegas from a former coach in John Tortorella as well. But those Montreal Canadiens last night, my goodness. You want to talk about a series like rust versus rest here, and Carolina hasn't lost a game. It should win it easy. Tom, I had to do a double take. I was watching Major League Baseball. Let me tune in the hockey. 4-1 at the end of the first period, and away the Canadiens went. So now we take a look at the Kalshi marketplace. The Carolina Carolina Hurricanes still the favorite, but only at a 53% clip to win this series. Montreal wipes them out in game number 1. How do we view this series, game number 2 beyond?
If the Canes get back on track, I expect them to win the series in 6, maybe 5 games. All of the underlying metrics still support the Canes to be the better team. When it comes, last night specifically in game 1, the shot attempts, the Canes outshot attempted the Habs by 30. Right, so even though they lost and they gave up more goals, all of the underlying metrics are always going to be in favor of the Canes. That's why the market over the past however many years since Rod Brind'Amour has been there, that's why they've always been one of the favorites, just because they have such strong underlying metrics. I will say, if the series stays close in terms of the Habs being within a 1-goal margin in every game, they have the potential to upset teams. That's what they've done. That's how they beat the Lightning. That's how they beat the Sabres. They have the potential to beat the Canes. I think the Canes, if they get out and running, I'm not sure they can keep up with them on a game-in and game-out basis.
Yeah.
They certainly, that was impressive, but the rust was there. That's obvious. But now it feels like we're back to the same old Carolina, like great team, but they just can't get out of their own way by the time they make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, Tom. It's like rinse and repeat here. Goaltending concern us still a little bit?
It has to. I said before with the Canes, like they have goaltending issues, but as long as the defensive system in front of Freddie Anderson is good, they'll always be in a chance. So if they can insulate him and he doesn't have to carry the game, that's how they can win.
Let's flip it over to Major League Baseball, Tom. Get some action this weekend for Memorial Day, but more of a bigger question is, how are we feeling, let's call it 2 months into the season, April and May, with those Los Angeles Dodgers? They're always going to be a heavy favorite World Series, but particularly in the National League. You see win streaks, you see losing streaks for them, frontline starting pitching damaged a little bit, but we know the trade deadline is going to come up, and they're going to probably add some frontline starting pitching. But on the Kalshi marketplace, Tom, the Dodgers currently trading with a 39% chance to win the National League. The best record in the National League, only at 19%. That's the Atlanta Braves, followed by the Cubs, the Brewers, and the Phillies have sort of awoken here. Looking at the Dodgers, your estimation of it right now, a time to jump in because they're a little bit lower, or you're going to wait this thing out and see how it plays?
We got to wait it out. 40% at this point in, May 22nd, whatever it is. It's just, it's a bit too early. And considering how good the Braves are, this is also a chance for them, to kind of go all chips to the middle when the trade deadline comes up in their own right. Acuna got hurt last night. I expect him to be back. It doesn't seem a long-term thing. Spencer Strider looked really good last night. If he is shaping up to be a secondary ace behind Chris Sale, knowing some of the pitching depth that they had, and frankly, that they're only going to try and improve on as the trade deadline comes along, Atlanta has to be in the conversation. And frankly, where they sit right now, I think it's a worthwhile investment.
Yeah.
Getting plus money with Tampa tonight at Yankee Stadium feels just like a gift from the baseball. I'm all about Garrett Cole, but not after a 14-month layoff. I don't see any reason not to take the plus money here with one of the hottest teams in the American League.
This is a situation when I saw the lines yesterday, last night, whenever it was. This comes to my mind. It's like both things can be true. I understand why the Yankees are favored at home, just because they are. We're never going to see massive plus money there. But getting plus money on the Rays, who, Joe, as you said, are one of the hottest teams in not just the AL, but the league overall. And we have a pitcher coming back from a significant layoff. Like, something doesn't make sense. So I would play this spot with the Rays, as you said, time and time again. And over the course of an entire baseball season, you should probably come out right more often than not. So the Rays are great right now. They have great relieving. They have good starting pitching, everything that you possibly want. And although Garrett Cole's looked pretty good in his rehab starts, it's like still a bit of a question mark.
Yeah, and the expectations for Garrett Cole tonight, I believe, on the Kalshi marketplace, sitting at 5.5 strikeouts, which means he needs 6 strikeouts at about a plus money number. We'll see how long they let him go, about 55 to 60 degrees for that start tonight, Tom. Really quick, matchups here in Major League Baseball to get to the World Series. For me, Tom, come on. Yankees, Phillies, $100 pays back $4,500. How are we thinking about the champions level here series matchup?
At a certain point, I don't hate it. It really comes down to the Yankees. I would say the Phillies could get there before the Yankees could get there when it comes to getting to the World Series. The Yankees have to be willing to make splash plays at the deadline. They are wasting the prime years of Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole.
And the one team that we looked at, and again, odds makers told you, don't you worry about those Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays got a 4.5-game lead with a monster series with the Rays and the Yankees. Tom, thanks for joining us on Prediction Markets Edge on the early line. We'll talk to you after this holiday weekend. We'll be right back. Prediction Markets Edge on the early line. One segment to go before he gets you out of here for that holiday weekend. And by the way, tweet came up here from Ben Horney. Yes, that's his name. Stop it, people. New. Critics warn platforms like Kalshi and Polymarket face a Juul-style reckoning due to youth-focused marketing. Kalshi disputes that it advertises to minors. There's just no way that it is good for our society, says attorney Grivner Ariel tells Front Office Sports. Now, by the way, I see through a lot of things like marketing. Kalshi and Polymarket marketing to minors? Like, what are we talking about? When what is it on, like Saturday morning cartoons? They pop in a Kalshi ad?
Yeah, I know. What are they worried about? A bunch of, 12-year-olds opening up bank accounts and setting it up the back end on how to set the account?
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Stop it. No, absolutely not. Nobody's marketing to anybody. You know, it's like, come on, please, here. So you're going to, what? Have you seen him market targeting what?
Yes.
Is it the Looney Tunes markets? Is it whether Bugs Bunny will actually catch the road right? Like, how does this work here exactly?
I believe it's show. I took my kid to McDonald's, got a Happy Meal, and there's no toy. There's just a Kalshi gift card of $5 to get their account started.
Gotcha.
I believe that's what I think they're talking about at this point right now. But you know what else we're going to talk about? We fade the public at times, and then other times we fade the market. Joe, all we want to talk about is the NFL. Look at that. Oh, that's all anybody wants to talk about. Once again, for some reason, I don't know who gets quoted or whose vote gets through at this point, but the NFL got the votes. Week 1.
Shocker, Donnie. Just absolute shocker that the NFL would be copying.
Yeah.
But listen, enjoy it now. Enjoy the NFL now. It's about to become the not national, but international football league in the next 5 years.
Let's not be confused by Josh Hart and Josh Allen. Here comes Josh Allen. Let's hear from him.
Josh, have you ever watched the show Teletubbies?
Teletubbies? Maybe a long time ago.
What color was your favorite Teletubby?
Green. Do you know the name?
Do you know the name, Joe, the Green Teletubby? The baby's face in the sun. Do you remember that show? Did you watch it?
See, we just went from the story of marketing to kids, and the first clip we show is Josh Allen asking about Teletubbies. You see the problem here, Donnie, that we have.
Yep, we talked about Teletubbies and kids, then we go right over to which way would you like to invest on the Kalshi marketplace with Buffalo and Houston week number 1. Goes hand in hand at this point. Buffalo, how about Joe? 49% chance Buffalo, 51% chance Houston. Yes, contract on Buffalo, 52 cents. Yes, contract on Houston, 51 cents here. Can't wait to see it get underway. That's week number 1.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, if we're just basing it on quarterback play, I'll take Josh Allen. But if the market is telling you, Donnie, not a real big edge either way. That Houston defense is no joke. But that Houston offensive line is a joke, and that's the problem with this team. And I'm not sure they did enough to address it in the offseason, Donnie, to make me want to run and back the dog here in Houston.
How about running it back in Cleveland here? I can't even believe we're talking about this. The new head coach, Todd Monken, is going to say, you know what? Here's Deshaun Watson. Let's hear from him.
He still wants to be an elite player after all he's been through in the last couple of years.
Oh, I think it's really cool. I know I've said that like 5 times today, but like, here's a guy that really, at this point, has made plenty of money. I think we all know that, right? He's had plenty of success and has had disappointment, you know, in his career. A number of things he couldn't control from an injury standpoint. But to come back and want to battle, want to further his career and change the narrative, I think it's really cool.
Do you feel like
Joe, let's also hear from Monken on a quick 7-on-7 right now, huh?
Yeah. We threw interceptions in 7-on-7, for God's sakes. I mean, who does that? There's no pass rush. I mean, it's embarrassing.
He explained it, and he's right about this. You're supposed to have your way with the defense because there's no pass rush, so you get multiple extra seconds to throw passes. And if you're throwing interceptions on air, stop, man. Can't have that, Joe. Can't do it.
Listen, he is just getting a taste of what it's like of Cleveland football. Poor Muggin is just going to. And that man is going to need a padded room when the season is over, because it's just getting started there with the Cleveland Browns craziness that will take center stage. Unreal.
114 days away, Joe, from Cleveland at Jacksonville, and Cleveland only a 26% chance to win this football game according to Kalshi. Jacksonville 74 cents. Myles Garrett, you better put on that pass rush if you want to dub week 1, Joe.
Yeah, I wouldn't bank on that, though. Again, anytime that we're talking about Deshaun Watson possibly being the quarterback, I'm going the other way.
Bank on this. That's PME. We'll see you back on Tuesday. Enjoy your holiday weekend.